Jason Gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain. Least Hussein getting paid, trend setting, brighter days. Dope rap, tight as set, high in Delhi, I'm a fighter jet. Jeremy.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's really good? It's your boy, the OG, Boricua Dandara, Muffins Martinez. Before we go into anything, like, subscribe, share. Please beat down the like button, show us a little love, drop a Macho Man elbow on it, whatever you want to call it, because this is our wrestling content. And I'm actually excited because I don't know what we're going to. I asked him, and he's like, I got some ish I want to talk about. And I'm like, listen. So go ahead, brother. Let's get it in.
Yeah, you know, I always be like lurking through every website that I could find in every wrestling company of people that I haven't heard of or stuff like that, so I'll find something. So you know me, I'm like through everything. So Triple Mania, AAA had the Triple Mania Regia and in Mexico City the last weekend, where they had some WWE stars and some TNA stars compete with the rest of the wrestlers. One of the matches was they saw Moose defend the X Division title against Joe Hendry and 4 other Mexican wrestlers there. And of course, Joe Hendry, of course, Moose retained his belt. We got to see, and people went crazy for Joe Hendry. You believe Joe Correo. So that's like the whole thing. I think we made a T-shirt already in Spanish that says Joe Hendry, Joe Correo, which means I believe, and that thing is like hotcakes right on the WWE website, man. Saying like hotcakes.
Wait. You said it's on the WWE website?
Yeah. Remember, WWE owns AAA.
Yeah, but I didn't think that. How does that work with Impact not getting any kind of royalties?
That part, I don't know.
Wow.
Which always leads me to believe sooner or later WWE is going to buy TNA. Which I've been saying that since last year when all this shit began. I've been saying the same thing, and I'm going to keep saying the same thing until the sale is finalized. I've been saying this since last year when all this started. WWE in some time future, they are going to purchase TNA. TNA right now is a hot commodity right now.
Oh, yeah.
TNA is burning. Right now is when you put you put that nail right in the coffin and you strike while it's hot. Because you could use TNA as your NXT and you put TNA with NXT and do the same thing and bring some people up, and then you use and stuff like that. So I could see it happening. You could centralize it to where they are now, one location every Tuesdays. They don't have to waste money of going anywhere else and travel. So, anyways, but that's what I keep saying. But the interesting thing that they had a tag team match for the AAA Parejas title, which is the TNA tag team. I'm sorry, AAA tag team. And they had the champions go up against the Nemeth brothers from TNA, who are the TNA tag team champions. Also, they had the Garzas, which is Angel and Berto, the Garzas. And in a shocker which shocked me, the Garzas won the AAA tag team belts, which I was shocked because it was a WWE company, WWE talent who actually won. The shocking part is what happened next is that on Friday they had a segment in the back in SmackDown with all the tag teams there, and the Garza showed up with the AAA titles.
Oh,
so I was like, whoa. I mean, now correct me if I'm wrong, or you just if you know something that I forgot. I don't think I ever seen belts from a different company being shown on a big show like SmackDown or Raw. Now we've seen the TNA title at Royal Rumble, which is a PLE twice, and we've seen it on NXT shows. But I've never seen the TNA title on actual SmackDown or Raw show being shown, stuff like that. But the AAA title was shown, probably presented by the Garzas. And that was, like I said, that caught me by surprise. So I don't think in my 40 plus years of watching wrestling, I don't think I ever seen a title from a different company, especially out of the country, because being Mexico, being shown on a WWE show. Now we've seen it in N.W.A, AEW when they win the Rep Pro from a different country or New Japan, and they have the belt, they show it because they do stuff with both of those companies.
Yeah,
This is the first time I've ever seen that in WWE. So I don't know if you've seen that before.
now I was gonna say ECW, but I forgot the only reason why the ECW belt was ever shown was because they bought ECW. So
ECW, yeah, they owned it. So unless you own it or something, and we know that WWE owns AAA, so of course I just didn't think it was going to happen that quick. And of course, just like everything happens, someone from the big company goes to Mexico and wins the title, but you never seen somebody from Mexico come into AEW or WWE and win a title and then take it down to Mexico. So it'll be interesting to see if the Garças will be going back regularly to defend the titles, or this is just going to be we won't see the titles in Mexico for the next 3 months till Triple Mania in August or September when they have the show, and then they'll come back in. I hope that doesn't happen because AEW does that already, and it sucks holding those belts hostage from Mexico and not being shown there on a regular.
and AAA is live every week, right?
They do tapings. They do tapings now.
Okay.
They tape stuff, and then they do the weekly hour show.
Yeah.
Because right now, they don't want a belt to the Rio anywhere near WWE, which is the reason why he lost the belt to El Hijo de Vikingo so damn quick, and they already announced it for Worlds Collide before the match ever happened.
Damn.
Like a week before, they were saying, El Hijo de Vikingo, the AAA Mega Champion, will defend the title at Worlds Collide against Chad Gable, and the match was the week later.
That's crazy.
When you already knew that he was going to lose the belt. They had the rematch, and boy, they threw everything out the rail. They were booing, which is crazy. They were booing El Hijo de Vikingo. They had fan favorites, wrestlers coming out trying to screw Alberto to not win the belt, and they were booing the hell of every fan favorite that did a run-in to try to screw the Rio. I mean, dude, I've never seen Hijo de Vikingo get booed in Mexico before.
I've never seen him booed in MLW, AEW, nothing. Impact Wrestling, we never seen him get booed.
Which was crazy to me. I was shocked that happened, and it'll be interesting to see if WWE changes courses and go like, damn, maybe we should include the Rio into our future plans. But right now, the Rio is like a plague to WWE. They don't want to touch that dude at all.
But you
they don't want him near the product. They do not want him near the product of the United States whatsoever. Mexico is fine here, they don't.
You know what's a shame, and I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
When Del Rio left WWE and showed up at Impact Wrestling, I was there. He talked so passionate, and they had no mic on him. This is not recorded, right? Like, I mean, they had a mic, but there was no cameras. Everything was footage was never seen. He told this passionate thing that he wants to take Impact Wrestling to the next level. He believes in the roster. Everything he said, everybody was like, damn, this is what we're here for, right? Like, this felt like that megastar that as Impact fans, we didn't have since like the AJ Styles and the Bobby Roodes and, Bobby Lashley and these guys. They were like, holy shit.
But remember, that was back in 2017 when he made those passionate stuff.
So I can't remember. I don't remember if it was Eddie Edwards. I don't remember who he beat. It might have been EC3 actually.
No, it was Lashley.
Was it Lashley?
Yeah, for the title, because I was there when I met you for the first time.
Okay.
Slammiversary. And
exactly. There you go.
And his girl, the white paste, what's her name? Paige. She was there with a luchador mask. Because I was sitting right next to her.
All right, so bang. So he wins the belt. We've seen him go into the crowd. Place goes crazy, right? Like, He's trying to be that people's champion. And it's easy, and I'm going to say this without saying no pause or no Diddy, it's easy to fall in love with Del Rio, right? Because we know he can go with any wrestler on the planet. The guy is a wrestling fucking machine. Wow.
My question is, what did he do later on, though?
He slapped Paige outside of the restaurant.
And then what he do in TNA later on?
Oh, he started becoming like an alcoholic and, doing all the dumb shit.
I remember WrestleMania weekend, he was supposed to defend the title against your boy Penta, and he was out there as instead partying for the weekend and getting drunk. And instead of being at the show, he's actually on Twitter. People had him on Twitter. He's out there hanging out drunk.
Yeah. And that's where I was going with it, which is the shame, because
he's his own worst enemy. He destroyed his career. Because that wasn't the end. Because after he left TNA, he got in a fight with his brother, Dos Caras. And I guess that he busted his ass open when he punched his face against the wall, the rumor was, and busted his brother's face wide open. The kidnapping charge that later on down in Texas by Chicken Local restaurant or whatever down there. So the dude has not been doing his best to stay clean. He's been out there destroying his own shit. He had nowhere else to wrestle in the States. Then he went back to Mexico, and Conan out there hired him back in AAA. And then he's been doing good ever since. Remember, people were making fun of him on social media because he was out of shape. He looked like he was fat, like this dude's out here. He went from thousands of fans to like 50, 100 people on shows and stuff like that before he went back to AAA. So this dude, what I'm trying to say, because I'm just dabbling on right now, no one can say that the Rio was deterred from his career because of the companies or because of something that happened against somebody else here.
No.
Everything that has happened to him, he blackballed his own self. He's done all this stuff in his own personal life outside. And then we found out the thing with Paige was all bullshit because I think Paige, made it up? Or it wasn't like half true?
It was like a half-truth thing. Yeah,
from videos they were saying at the restaurant. That's why I was saying, dude, don't jump the gun until you get all the facts straight first. There's always three sides, not two sides, three sides. Your side, their side, and the witness's side who saw everything. Because you're going to think I did this, and you're going to swear up and down that's what happened. They're going to do the same thing. But the witnesses are the ones who are going to say, this is what really happened. So, but yeah, so the Rio, they don't want to touch him with any type of pole right now. So we're gonna segue from, because we were talking about also TNA. So let's jump into TNA news. TNA now, they're doing a, how do you call that? They're doing like a, I don't know what the word is, but after the shows, the president of Impact, which is now Carlos Silva, will come out and have like a talent of the show type of deal.
Like a presser?
Not a presser. Like you'll have all the guys and the girls and people that work, and then he'll say who was the MVP of the tapings for that show.
Okay.
Or stuff like that. So the first one was Casey Navarro.
Oh, I seen that. He got a trophy or whatever. You said this to me.
Well, it was a hat for Impact, showing like the MVP. Then the second week came out to be Tommy Dreamer. Oh, I'm sorry, Santino Marella after the match he had with Robert Stone for control of TNA, and that was the first match that Santino has wrestled in 3 to 4 years because of his neck injury.
Yeah.
So he's been training and getting ready to wrestle, and they finally okayed it. Now the third one was the one that I sent you, that then the guy went back and gave them little MVP trophies to Casey and to Santino Marella, and then one of the ladies who works at the ringside. And you've seen her, because I've seen this lady since the first day I saw her in 2017, and she sits with the headset right next to the timekeeper. a piece of paper to keep like the show going and shit like that. I don't know why you call that, like what type of job that is.
I mean, she might be an agent. They might call it being an agent because they're making sure the times are staying into the ring to the time of the matches, or if it starts going dull, she might give us time.
I don't know what it is, but I think she's the girlfriend or the wife of oh God, what's his name? I just saw his name on my head and I forgot it already. The moron that was there with when they went to the house and they were doing that stupid thing of who killed or who shot your boy Johnny Swinger.
Johnny Bravo?
Johnny Bravo. That's his girlfriend or wife. They've been together for a long time. But yeah, so now they're doing that after every tapings or after every PLE. That guy Carlos Silva will have and give them a trophy as the MVP of the show. The reason why I bring this up is because they just had their tapings Friday and Saturday in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I sent you the video of this. There's a match that they have for a TNA Explosion, which is, I think, one of the girls we've seen before, Mila Moore. We've seen her in MLW, AEW, and stuff like that. And she was wrestling Jada Stone. She defeated Jada Stone. And after the match, Tommy Dreamer came out with Carlos Silva and Jazz.
Yep.
And interesting enough, Jazz is the person who took over for Gail Kim's job. So Jazz is the producer and in charge of the women's division.
But she's been doing it for a long time, though.
Well, no. She's been doing
it. Her own company.
Well, yeah, that's all I was gonna say. That she's been doing it on her own.
Yeah.
Because her and her husband, Rodney Mack, own N.W.A. Dog Pound down in San Antonio, which is now a territory of the N.W.A. So it's called N.W.A. Dog Pound. So she's been doing that there too. But she's also the female producer, writer, director for all the females in the N.W.A.
Damn.
So she's been doing the N.W.A., the Dog Pound, and then she took over when Gail Kim was mysteriously released, and they gave her the job. So Jazz is everywhere, bro. Jazz, I mean, it's one thing to have Gail Kim, but it's one thing when you have Jazz, who's out. I mean, Jazz has been a longer career than Gail Kim. So, and now she's doing that, still wrestling some, here and there, and doing stuff with 3 different companies. That's crazy.
Sure.
Well, the thing was that they came out, Tommy Dreamer spoke, and they offered Jada Stone a contract to be a new Knockouts talent. At the same time, they offered Mila Moore a contract to be a Knockouts female there in the show. So I appreciate that and I love that because it's showing that female wrestling is pushing the boundaries, and it's no longer the opening match or the middle. It was in the middle. This is the pee break. I'm gonna go get a beer. So stuff like that. So now they're main eventing, semi-main events. They're doing that. Mila Moore has been wrestling, I want to say, less than 3 years, which is crazy to me, to get wrestling that low and already getting a contract like that. And Jada Stone, same thing. Jada Stone's been wrestling since 2022, so she's wrestling for 3 years. So to do it that fast and put that dedication into your craft to the point that you're getting signed to TNA, which is right your step under WWE, because if they like you and they see you here, they're going to go, oh, let's bring her up here, have her do some backstage segments or whatever, and see what happens. Now, what I love about Jada Stone, she has a tag team partner, but she's also wrestles for Raw, Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's company down in Houston, Texas. And she goes there by Jada Spark. And her tag team partner is Maya World, which is another phenomenal talent, young girl. When they together, boy, this is a high flying tag team, and they're called Spark the World.
I
So
dig that.
I would love if somewhere in the future, because of WWE ID, we'll see Maya World come in, help out Jada Stone here in TNA, and you can see them together, man, because these ladies have been putting bangers in Ring of Honor, reality wrestling, and also Mission Pro Wrestling, which is the one with Thunder Rosa from also in San Antonio, Texas. But that one, she closed it down. She shut it down. I don't know if it's forever, but it shut down last year. So there's one less all-female wrestling company out there now. So, but I love it for the simple reason: fresh faces, fresh talent, fresh feuds we're gonna see now, and that's the good thing. And I know you hate this. I know you hate this. The rotating of females every 3-6 months. I like when the company you have the ladies signed with a 2-year contract, 3 years. I'm fine that. But after a while, the feuds get stale because you have the same females doing the same and wrestling the same people. That's why I like to have at least 10 females on the roster and bring 4 or 5 females from outside for 3 months, do the feuds, do stuff like this, like they do in Stardom or they do in Marigold, where they bring 3 to 5 females from the outside United States or other countries, bring them in for 3 months to do feuds and have different feuds and storyline, and you keep it fresh. Because then 3 months from now, boom, here comes somebody new. Now this is how I found out who Shayna Baszler was, because after 3 months, some girls were done. She came in and beat the shit out of Io Sky, and when she took her thing off, it was Shayna Baszler. I'm like, holy shit, the Queen of Hearts at that time. And they had a feud where everybody there, especially Io Sky, for the next 3 months, banger matches. She never beat her for the belt. And then when that was done, boom, here comes a fresh batch coming in. I like that. I like that constant change, which I know you hate that because
I want to tag you.
And I you hate it because we're gonna segue to LMW.
Wait.
And I want you to start that with LMW because of something that we read.
Okay. So first, I want to touch on something we've been saying for as long as me and you have been podcasting, that TNA is what really started the women's revolution, and not just have them in bra panties. So we're always going to give them their credit on that and what they meant for the women's division. TNA also, and it's another thing that we've been saying for years, I would love, and you would love, if a company would give the opportunity for women to have their own show, right? Yes. Because the reason why I do not like
why it hasn't happened yet is beyond me, bro. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no freaking idea. Because when, let's just say a few years ago, Thunder Rosa's name was buzzing on a crazy level. Everyone wanted Thunder Rosa. You had Thunder Rosa's name going crazy. You had, what's Bram's wife's name?
The Brickhouse.
Camille Brickhouse, right? So you had Camille, yes, who was, scorching hot, right? So you had Camille, you had Thunder Rosa, and Britt Baker in AEW. Those 3 names were buzzing like crazy. And then you had a bunch of women like Jordana Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha Steeles. All these girls' names were going nuts. And you're like, we said this when it was white hot. We said it when it slowed down. We'll say it again. You have to take the opportunity. Impact Wrestling, I'm telling you, even if you give us a one night only, where you just make a women's pay-per-view and chop it up into segments, where your women can now get a full show, even if it's a half hour, 45, kind of like how N.W.A does. They do the
shows, 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, you could give us that, and you don't have to worry about, because like you said, I agree. The thing is with these companies, you have 10, 12, and you're like, okay, cool. I understand the revolving door because it does get stale. But if they had their own way, it does not get stale. you have different champions of different weights or different styles. You have your tag teams, and a lot of these women have a lot more opportunity to do what they were going to do. I'm just somebody who, when I gravitate to somebody, I want to see them more, right? And that's me because I just like what I like. And we sit back and we go, well, shit, why don't anyone take the opportunity? WWE has 9,000 women under their roster, and we barely ever see them because they're going to throw, unfortunately, right now, it's Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Naomi, it's Jade Cargill, Becky Lynch, and that's kind of it. Everyone else is kind of Rhea, of course. Rhea. I think Rhea is the most over female WWE, but like that's that little core, and everyone else has to try to get their scraps. You know, like whatever they throw at me, we'll do.
Well, the question is this, like you're saying that now, like how many times are we going to see Rhea Ripley go up against Raquel Gonzalez?
Yeah, exactly.
How many times are we going to see your girl, Alexa Bliss, which just came back from injuries or whatever, recently, go up against this or this and this, who they have wrestled before? It's the same, always the same thing. But then, like you said, you have all the females, we don't know where to find, where they're going to put them in. Like, dude, they should remove this one girl for a while and push this one.
Yep.
And have this one do back segments or give her a little mini, like, okay, you're going to be off for 2 months, we'll have a break, and you still
have. What's that thing that they have? It's called like Fast Speed or what's that? It's
that show. Yeah, they do on Wednesdays. Yeah, so like speed match.
Speed match.
3 minutes.
If you can have that, a show just for that, you can have an all women's card. You know what I'm saying? Like stop with the bullshit. You're the mecca. Anything you do, because Rhea has her own fans, Zelina Vega has her own fans, Alexa Bliss. If you have an all women's card, these people are going to buy tickets because they have their own fans. Yep. You know what I mean? It's frustrating. And then we go to MLW, and
so we're going to segue to MLW now.
Yeah. I'm not sure how because I feel away because I think was it Brody what?
Brody what?
The one who was talking about the pay and everything.
Well, that was MVP.
Okay, so MVP
just came out and said that because they were asking him a couple of questions, and that came up about the contract situation, and he tweeted, "If you are under a contract with a company," and he said, not WWE or AEW, but MLW, TNA, N.W.A, and you're still working a full-time job, then you are not under contract.
And okay. So
because we're trying to say if you're in a full contract, you're not working at 9 to 5 because you're getting enough pay to be able to support yourself without having to work, making it seem like this other shows already paying you for appearances, for this, and you still have to work at 9 to 5.
But hear me out, right? So this is my
which
thing.
I agree, and that was the buzz that happened. So he had to go back and reiterate what happened, and then the MLW came in with Court Bauer, where Brody King asked him, "Should I sign with MLW because they offered me a contract?" And he go like, "No, don't do it, because you're not. He's gonna have you on the contract. NXT is hot. All these other companies are hot. What happens if AEW wants you or this company wants you? Now you're on the contract. You can't leave." Because you're on the contract with him for whatever time it is, and you're not even getting paid as much as you should be getting paid.
So hold on. Let me play devil's advocate here, because I'm not going to take a side for MLW or any wrestling company or the talent. Yes. Here's my logical thinking.
Oh yeah, we give our own opinions, you know that.
Yeah. So this is my logical thinking of the situation. One, if I sign a contract here, I should finish my thing because I signed it, right? Because this is what I signed. If that contract is not good enough for you to make ends meet, then why did you sign it in the first place? If it's not what you need, you don't sign it. You do hey, listen, I'll take my paid by appearance. You want me here? Pay me for this show and I'll come for this show. But I'm not signing a contract. And I'm pretty sure you can say that if you have any leverage. So at the same time, Now, if I'm court and I want to sign you, why should I give a shit? Is if I make you bubble, because 9 out of 10 times you're not bubbling if the big companies don't want you in the first place. So if you start bubbling under my fucking company, why should I let you go and make more money from the bigger companies when they didn't want you in the first place? I got eyes on you, and they said, "Oh, who's this guy or girl? Oh, let's go get him." Okay, well, that's not my problem. I mean, shit, this is basic anything. You go to a job interview, you tell them how much you expect for the work you know. I'm not going to settle for some shit on the side. I'm going to take what my value is. You don't want to pay me, I'll go to the next motherfucker. But damn, all these people complaining about contracts, well, don't sign them.
The thing that what MVP was saying was this. So Brody King came up to him, which is an AEW, and he goes to MVP. Hey man, they want me to sign me this contract. I said I can't. In good conscience, told you to sign that contract because I don't think it's fair. I remember telling court, give these guys a 90-day out. We will mess up your TV. You have 90 days to do whatever storyline you want to get these people out. Have them lose on their way out, whatever. But if NXT comes along and gives them an opportunity to make life-changing money, you're going to make them stay with you for 2 or 3 years for a few $100 a month where they're not making a living as a wrestler. And I guess that right there is where him and Court Bauer had their fallout. Now, at this point here, I agree with MVP about the 90-day clause out. Because if you get it for 90 days, you sign the contract for a year or whatever, but you have a 90-day clause out. If somebody comes calling, all right, just give me 2 more weeks or a month. Let's do the storyline. We're going to have you lose, and we're going to write you out the right way. So that way, if something fails over there, you come back and pick up where you left off. Now, this part I agree with. So, and that was what I guess was the fallout between him and Court Bauer, and he told Brody King, don't do it.
No, and I agree with the 90-day thing. I agree with that. But my thing is, bro, like, these people got to stop, because if you have any kind of sense, like, all right, let's just say me, and this is Rob. This ain't Chef. This is real me. I can't function without my wife, right? Like, I can't. My wife handles all my stuff. So if I sit back and I have to do anything, I always tell people my wife runs this. I just live here. We don't do nothing without my wife, because she understands. My wife looks at every piece of paper, looks at every single document for everything. She don't sign shit until she knows. Me, I'm a typical dumbass dude. Yeah, cool. Want to get it done? Let's get it done. But that's what representation is for. So if you're not smart enough to figure out what's going to work, take your significant other who's smarter than you and let them read the fine print. If the fine print don't match up, we ain't doing this. We'll do the PBA thing like everybody else, and we'll do whatever. But to sit there, sign it, and then complain, I don't get that.
Well, I also agree with, if you sign a contract and you're still working in 9 to 5, then that's not a contract. Because I would believe if you sign a contract, you are getting paid enough to go on other ventures and be in peace of mind saying, I'm going to follow this. I'm going to do a page of, me playing, or do this, or do this, or do this, knowing that the money is there. I don't have to worry about going out and working 9 to 5 because I'm on the contract and I'm safe. So I always believe that. And it comes out to the point where you're on the contract and then you get hurt. And now that you're doing a GoFundMe page, which drives me crazy.
And we've seen that way too much.
What happened with Chris Bay, which happened in the TNA ring, and he's supposedly on the contract, but you got to do a GoFundMe page to pay for the bills. But hold up, if you're on that contract, then you should be okay, right?
Because if you get hurt at your workplace, there's a cost for that, right? Like,
yeah, they can't fire you.
Yeah.
You're good. So if you got hurt at work and now you're out, they got to take care of all your bills because it's workers' comp. Now you're gonna be out for like what, my God, 6, 8, 9 months because they can't do anything. They have to pay for all that shit, workers' comp. And if you come to the point that you have to sue them, you sue them and say, hey, this happened there because of your negligence, and I need money. So in that case, the contract thing is, I don't know, man. I'm always in between the word contract when it comes to like writing the contract thing.
So and to kind of go into a different pace for MLW, because we saw that Court Bauer saying that they want to have another women's division, right?
And I want to also talk about your boy, your Squid Face guy.
Who?
Squid Face, the star guy, Starfish.
Stingray?
Who?
Stingray?
Yeah, him.
Oh, okay. Bro, you have me lost. I'm like, Starfish.
I him too because of what he said in that live show.
I just want to say something real quick. Because we've seen that N.W.A has now officially exited MLW, which she was the biggest mainstay. Yeah, we've seen that she was the biggest mainstay. Janai Kai, she's had her exit, who was the best champ that they had in the women's division, period, ever.
Over a year, 13 months, 14 months, Jesus.
We seen her dominate, and she had a great, interactions with N.W.A. So both of them are gone. We get the new Asian girl. She wins the belt. We're kind of surprised, but there is not a woman on that roster that is an MLW talent. Right? It's mind blowing. In 2025, if you don't know how to work a women's match, this is crazy to me.
Well, and this is where Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah,
that's okay. So this is where he had that interview, and they asked him about that, and he had mentioned how they're working on the TV deal or a streaming service deal, which is the way to go now because the TV shit is done. Cut the cord or whatever. The days of TV, those TVs are done. Everything we talked about streaming service before. We saw that topic here a bunch of times. WWE has Netflix, AEW has HBO Max, TNA has to get somebody. N.W.A now is going to start on Roku next month.
Which is awesome.
So that's a win for Roku, and then win from the N.W.A. So then you have TNA without the only one in MLW. So if MLW can get something before TNA, then something's going on with TNA getting bought by WWE, whatever. But he said that they're working on that, and then he said that after that, once they get everything, the ducks in a row, then the roster is going to come into play. Where you mentioned now you start signing guys to contracts. And this is where I think it sucks as of right now, because this Thursday is their show this Thursday night. Summer of the Beast is from New York this Thursday live. So, and yes, we'll be going live that night, hopefully, to do our live show. And they're supposed to do taping, so at least there'll be something else for the middle of next month in July, like they always do. So hopefully we know Hammerstone is back, and I think he's on the contract. So I see him winning the MLW, I want to say the open weight belt from the one guy in Mexico, and bring that belt back over to MLW. Hopefully that happens, so then you can see the wheels turning slowly, but they'll be turning, because I'm hoping by the end of the year they'll have some kind of contract with a streaming service.
Yeah,
I don't care. Go to Tubi. Fuck that. Tubi is free and it's the same thing as Roku. Go to Samsung Plus. Samsung, their own TV. You get a deal with Samsung. That'll be awesome. You sell the TV and you have MLW Wrestling right there on the Samsung Plus channels.
See, and this is where I might annoy people. I think the best thing that Court Bauer has done is get somebody who's not a typical wrestling individual, right? Because people who work in the wrestling industry, they do a lot of talking with no substance behind it, right? Because they're good with their words, and they feel that because they are who they are, they can make something happen. Paul Walter Hauser, as little and I'm going to say this truthfully, as little as I know about him, because I loved his work in Cobra Kai.
Yes.
You know, we joked about it, you know, Stingray, blah, blah, blah. But when he came to MLW, I started to pay attention to him a little more because I was like, oh, like, I know you and Rob K were talking about, oh, he's been wrestling on the independents and, you know, he does work. He's a huge fan. And the more I listen to this guy and the more homework I do, he sounds like a wrestling businessman.
Yes.
He doesn't look like a wrestler, right? Because, you know, he's chunky and shit like that. But when you listen to him, there's not an ego to him. It's an educated palate that's saying the right things. And he has a lot of connections with a lot of the right people through, like, you know, working in the industries. He's working with them movies and producers and, you know, all these people across the board. When he spoke on that, I was like, you know what? This feels organic, right? Like, so if you're bringing him in for a specific reason, and let's just say at some point he's like, I don't really want to get in the ring. I'm going to focus more on the streaming. I want to focus more on bringing talent in. I want to focus more on the production. So we have the clarity is good. The lighting is good. Where we're putting our cameras, everything is catching what we need to catch. I like all that. And I think that he's the perfect guy to do it because from what I understand, towards the last 2 seasons of Cobra Kai, he took it upon himself to stay around the like the camera crew, I guess. Mm-hmm. And he was sitting there watching how they're taking angles. He's asking questions. So he was trying to get in the production element of it. And I'm like, wow, this guy, you know, he's going to keep making money because if I don't keep making money doing a film, I'll shoot a film, right? Like, he's trying to make sure he understands it. And they have a little gold mine because he's really respected. A lot of people like Paul Walter Hauser, and he's a good guy. Like, people really like him. So, yeah, work on that streaming deal. Will it suck for a few months? We're MLW fans. We've been dealing with this shit for a while.
It's been sucking for a while, so.
Yeah, what's a few more months? You know what I mean? But, you know, obviously, we're not going to get Jacob Fatu back. He's absolutely a fucking gold mine. In WWE, he's a gold mine. But to me, when I think of MLW greats, it's Fatu and Hammerstone and Fatu. I don't care where you place them. Having Hammerstone back feels like a promising feels like a promising step in the right direction. I wish that we could get Richard Holiday back as well. I want to dig back into that feud, and Richard Holiday is money. And I know he's always thinking on the independents, but I mean, I trust in Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah, and Myron Reed came back also. So
absolutely, Myron Reed
also back. You know, and now they have the 2 Japanese girls wrestling on the show on Thursday, which is weird watching 2 Japanese wrestling on a US TV show for the US in a US title from MLW. So,
you know, and I'm gonna say this, I hope she steps on New York City. Right? Like, I'm a New York guy.
Okay, when she comes out with the
If she crushes New York, bro, I'm gonna love it. Like, not because on some funny shit, but like, she's Godzilla, right? Like, she's the giant, the beast. And you gotta do it. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta, I mean, crush the Statue of Liberty or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, don't do that. No.
Why?
The Statue of Liberty, boy, you know how you boycotting and calling for the death of that poor girl?
Bro, it's fucking wrestling.
Dude, there's a war almost going on. There's shit going on with all the other countries, and you want to have a Japanese girl stomp on the symbol of freedom, even if it's a skit. Dude, you out of your damn mind. That girl will not leave alive from JFK Airport. She will be killed before she leaves. By either fans or home security. Is going to shoot that girl down. Oh, you're thinking you're alive? Well, see if you're bigger than this. Pow, 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 pow.
All right, so don't step on the Statue of Liberty.
Buildings, yeah, some buildings, I don't care. But not the Statue of Liberty. Oh, Lord Jesus. And definitely not the double towers either.
No. Those,
oh, Lord.
No, those can't be in there. All right, so what if it's like Madison Square Garden or something?
That's fine. Or just regular apartments, man. Yeah, whatever. You know, whatever. Brooklyn sign or some shit. Like, blah, blah, blah. And then have some giant rats, and she's stepping on the rats too. Because, you know, the rats in New York are huge.
Yeah, they are.
They look like possums. So she can stop on those too. That would be funny right there. This dude wants to start an international war. stomp on the Statue of Liberty. Oh my!
All right, my bad. I'm a little off. My bad.
Holy shit, bro! You are out of your mind.
I thought it'd be funny.
Dude, I thought I was saying crazy shit, but that right there, you took the cake on that one, brother. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. I was just simple buildings, nothing crazy. He wants to stick on Lady Liberty. But
I mean, listen, France wants it back anyway. France wants the Statue of Liberty
but
back.
still, they ain't gonna get it, so don't matter.
They get shit.
Exactly. Boy, and on that note, I have nothing left to talk about because this dude just destroyed my whole everything.
All right, listen.
You got anything, Chef?
Nah, because I did like I really liked it. I'm glad we touched on it with the two girls from Impact getting the contracts.
Yes.
You know, and I love the fact that it's not a backstage segment. They gave it to the fans.
Yes,
you know,
right in the ring in front of everybody. Yes,
because
that's why I love that even more. That it was done down there, and you could see their raw emotions right there, not knowing that that was gonna happen, and doing it right there, dude, that's even better. Because it would have been a backstage thing, it would have been bullshit.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, I can't express people if they've ever been to a wrestling show. You never forget a moment, right? Like, that's a moment you get to keep because you were there. Oh man, I was there when they signed.
Yes.
Like when Dixie Carter did the GFW versus Impact Wrestling, and she was hugging everybody, and that was fucking epic. You know what I mean? It's just stuff like that.
Horrible angle though, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it's still, you give your fans that feeling like they're cheering matters.
And like you said, I was there. That feeling of you looking with somebody else and say, "Oh shit, dude, I was there. I was at that show right there at that taping. I was there. Me and Chef was sitting over there. I was sitting here, and that shit happened. I was there. I saw that shit live, and the fans were going crazy. And the funny thing is, this is for new talents for TNA in 2 months, because they sent the two girls. One from are they both from England?
No, I think Myla Moore's out here because she wrestled out here.
The last two girls, Myla Grace and
yeah. They were European.
Okay, so both Europeans last month or 2 months ago, and now you got two more new ones. That makes 4 on top of what you have now. And I don't believe anybody has left from their current roster to add 4 before they would even add that many.
Yeah.
Remember, they will only keep it at a certain amount. Oh, we got 12. Well, we got 2 new ones, or 2 are leaving or something. Because I remember we used to always count. Oh, they got 13 or 14, so that means they don't go over. But this looks like it's going to go over. Maybe they'll focus more on the tag team belts. Or they could bring another female title, like which I would say a TV title is a must, and you can have her defend that title in both NXT and TNA.
Absolutely.
You know, and then you could have somebody from NXT win, and you come over to TNA and defend it, and then vice versa. That's how I like your belts to be done, not just one company poaching out of TNA, which AEW did.
Yep.
And right now, WWE just did it with Trick when he won the NXT title, but you still haven't seen anybody from NXT. I'm sorry, anybody from TNA winning a NXT title.
Not yet.
So I would love somebody from there to win the Heritage Cup.
I think. Listen,
or something
don't sleep on Hendry being that first person to win a belt over there.
Yeah, because he was the one who lost it to Trick.
Yep.
He's getting a rematch at Slammiversary. Now they're trying to add Santana into the mix. To make
I think that he was in NXT.
So I was kind of surprised that Slammiversary was going to be not a 1-on-1, and now it could be turned into a 3-way, which makes no sense to me. But I don't write, so.
No, it is what it is. Listen, though, but there's a lot that we're excited for this partnership because it's a real partnership. Like, we've been saying that we like what NXT is doing with TNA. N.W.A. getting on Roku, we love that. Impact, they got to get something. MLW, according to PWH, They're working on multiple things, and I think what they're doing, I think finally they're not half-assing it. They're going to blow it up and then try to build a foundation the smart way instead of just trying to implement stuff every few months that's not going to work. So I like what they're doing. AEW, I don't really watch a lot of, but listen, we talk everything.
Yeah, I don't know. AEW is a lot of crazy shit. I know a lot of the female stuff is going off, but they had the main event on Saturday for the female that got like a 4-way. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 versus 4. But you know, it's so. As a matter of fact, thank you for saying that. I read, don't know if it's concrete, but they say it was concrete. AEW is having a new women's tag team belts are going to be coming out soon. So it's been finalized. I mean,
they'll go on ROH or something, you know, like.
Well, the thing is this: the last one they had was Diamante and Ivelisse when they won those
medals,
and then the thing with Ivelisse and Thunder Rosa, and they haven't touched Ivelisse since. But if you want to make it legit, you have to bring her back and have them go up against her and Diamante to make it okay. This is legit now. Would it happen? I doubt it. But I know a lot of the girls now are pairing up as tag team. You've seen, and if there's any leftovers, you're gonna see Thunder Rosa and Persephone from AAA being a tag team. So you can see that already because they already been teaming here and there in Mexico. So I can see that happening here. I know Mexico has a mixed men and women tag team, which at one time Tay Conti and her man, the Lizard, won it, but then they had to lose it because then she got hurt or got pregnant or something. So that'd be kind of awesome to see a mixed tag team title. I don't know if that will work here in the States, but you know, because at least in Mexico, the guy faced the female back and they actually look like they're a real match. Here, they don't want no violence on females. So
yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, that will definitely not work because of that. But so I just remember that when you said that about the tag teams. Yeah, so AEW is coming out with an AEW women's tag team.
No, I dig it, but it's got to be done right once again.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and not for nothing, like, I just don't trust Tony Khan because I think he's a goofy dude that just makes no sense half the time.
But lately, the last couple of months, the show has been solid. I'm not going to lie. The shows have been solid. All in Texas is going to be a huge show. They're going to have some humongous matches there happening. So I don't know why he still doesn't get some kind of help, like writers, like WWE used to have or has, with Uncle Vince being the last one, or now Triple H, you know, being the last. Okay, I like this. Okay, we'll change this or what. But yeah, he needs to get something like that, so that way he doesn't get on his own way of making some good things because I love this, so let's do this, and they're going like, nah, bro, that's not gonna work. So Chef, I don't know what else, brother.
No, I think we actually touched on all lanes, all avenues, all companies. I mean, we even forgot AEW. We're still through AEW in there. So listen, man, like I said, we talk everything. It's not like we're going to skip something if it's whatever. If there's news, we talk it. If it's something we want to talk about, we'll bring it up, and we keep our honest opinion. We don't have to be right, but we're just giving you our opinion.
We're never right. We're never right.
Well, no, I'm just saying we're not these clowns that are going to just agree with whatever dumb dirt sheets they read and throw the information out there. Nah, to me, that's corny. If we like something, we like it. If we don't, we don't. Like I said, like, subscribe, share, all that good-ish. It's Tuesday, I think. They'll be out either today or tomorrow because I'm going to throw it on this man right here because this man is hurting like a mama. I'm out of here. He's out of here. We out of here. Deuces.